Let's run through some questions on IT risk planning and controls. Which of the following items refers to a site that has been identified and maintained by the organization or a company, most likely a company, as a data processing disaster recovery site, but has not been stocked with equipment? Let's take a look here. Well, a ready site is not a thing. It's definitely not a thing. That leaves these are all definitely real terms we'll see in our exam here. Be familiar with all three. We have hot sites, warm sites, and cold sites. Hot sites, let's say I am a bank and I have an office in the next state that is ready to go. It's got all the IT infrastructure. It's got computers. It's got machines. It's got everything. It's got electricity. It is fully ready to go in case, God forbid, something happens to the main office and it shuts down completely. There's an earthquake. There's a hurricane. It completely destroys the main office. A hot site would be completely ready to go. And in this case, okay, not been stocked with equipment, right, that does not indicate a hot site to me. A hot site is fully ready to go. If we needed to start tomorrow in this new office, we could. Awesome. What about warm sites and cold sites? Well, a site that has been identified and maintained, but has not been stocked with equipment. So it's only been identified and maintained. It hasn't really been established. And that's why I'm going to not say warm site. Warm site would probably be a building that you have. You know, maybe you don't have, like, you already bought the building and you have a plan. You have a plan to use that building, and maybe it takes a week to get it going. But a cold site is, okay, like, we see this warehouse over there. We haven't bought it or rented from it, or, you know, maybe it's something that we have on the back burner. Maybe we can use it, right? It might take maybe a year to get it up and going. It's not been stocked with equipment, but yeah, like, we can store, you know, servers there possibly. So that is going to be a cold site, right? Cold site is an offsite location. We have electrical connections and other physical requirements for data processing, but we don't have the actual equipment. Final answer is going to be letter C. Which of the following best describes a hot site? All right, love these questions. Why do I love them? Because they're pretty common that they're asked on the exam, and I want you to love them and know them as well. All right, so is a hot site a location equipped with the necessary hardware and possibly software? That sounds pretty solid. Let's keep reading. Is it a location within the company that is most vulnerable to disaster? Well, I mean, if you didn't know what a hot site was by definition, yeah, that might sound like it could be, right? A hot site, like, oh, we're going to get struck by a flood, right? So not letter B. It's actually the opposite, right? It's a location that's ready to go. It's hopefully away from any harm. Location that is considered too close to potential disaster area. Okay, that's pretty similar to letter B. And location where a company can install data processing equipment on short notice. This is going to be a warm site. So warm site would be in short notice. A hot site is immediately. Locations equipped with hardware and software. It's ready to go. You're fully ready. This, again, letter D would be a warm site. Letter A is a hot site. Cool. The protective device that allows private intranet users to access the internet without allowing internet users to access to the private intranet information is called what? Well, first, let's talk about internets versus intranet. You might not be familiar with an intranet, and that's totally fine. The internet, you obviously know what that is. That is our interconnected web of all computers that are existing, right? And we can log into the internet, go to Facebook, go to Google. The intranet, this is essentially a private internal internet. And a company might have this because they are a pretty big company and they've got a lot of features they want their users and their employees to be able to access, but it needs to be secure. So think of it like a private internet. I mean, almost, I know China, probably North Korea, right? They've got private internets there. Kind of think of it like that. You've got your own private company internet. And you want your employees to be able to access the internet, the full internet, but you need to stop anyone and everyone from the internet accessing your intranet. Now, what is going to be the tool to allow us to stop that? An antivirus program, while it's important, only stops viruses. It doesn't stop access, right? That's why we're going to cross that off. Password, well, again, you definitely want passwords, but that's not going to stop people from the internet from accessing your private intranet. A browser, this is just how you search for things, so it's not the answer. It is a firewall. Think of a firewall, right? A barrier keeping out those you want to keep out, but it's a gate letting people in who should be let in. Hot sites and cold sites are needed to prevent risks from nature from causing significant harm. Risks from nature would include all of the following except which? All right. Transportation accidents, if unfortunately if a bus drives into your building and destroys it, that would be considered a risk from nature, right? And we don't mean nature like a tree or a bush, right? It could just be an act of God, I'll essentially say, right? Something that, could happen. It unfortunately does happen. What about workplace revenge? Is this from nature? Well, actually, no. This is going to be from a current or past employee. So this is an internal. All these others are likely going to be external. Hazardous material accidents, that is going to be external. And floods, that is also nature and external, right? So C, D, and A, these are all considered acts of nature, acts of God, and workplace revenge is going to be committed by a current or past employee. Final answer is letter B. Great group of questions here in IT risk planning and controls. Thank you all for joining and keep going strong. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.